Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get talking. Don't ignore the red flags. This evening, we've got a powerful team here again, a powerful panel, a power packed panel, a qualified panel, and our panel is not just qualified academically, they are qualified spiritually, which is
Amen.
most important.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
So again, let me make some introductions. I'll introduce the gentleman first. We've got Pastor Evangelist Daniel George. He's a UE graduate from School of Theology. He has a diploma in Bible theology. He's into evangelism, youth development, and church leadership. Pastor George, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, and we have Hazel-Ann, Mrs. Hazel-Ann Luke-Douglas. She's a preschool teacher.
Hi.
She's a tutor at UE. She's a job replacement officer. She's a early childhood education. She's into early childhood education, guidance, and counseling. She has a bachelor's in social work, and she has a master's in project management. Welcome, Mrs. Douglas. And here we
Thank you
have
so much for having
Wendy.
me again.
You're welcome. Wendy Samuel Titus. Wendy
Hello.
has a master's in educational psychology. She has a bachelor's in behavioral science. And we are happy to have them all here. And they are spiritually qualified, as I said. So
Amen.
we
Amen.
we're not just fighting with the books, we're fighting. No demon can affect us. No weapon from against us shall prosper in Jesus' almighty name.
Prosper.
Amen.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
ladies and gentlemen, here we are again, part two of school violence. As we did last week, we did part one. And, you know, it was established last week that abuse, which starts from within the home, is the root cause of school violence.
Amen.
Because,
Yes.
from a dysfunctional home, or dysfunctional family could be maybe parents are too busy, maybe they have parents have suffer substance disorders or personality disorders or mood disorders, and these things, it's like a chain reaction and goes down to the passes
Amen.
on to the children, and then the children either carries it in the school to the teachers or other children and on the streets. So we're trying to see what could be done to eradicate and how we could solve, because it was also established that not all children are academically inclined. So there are skills that, children could do if they're not interested in the academics. And later on in the program, we will have Sirnelia Etienne, who's a chef. She will come in and she teaches children cooking skills. All right. So for now, my first question to the panel is, do you think that schools should consider mental health screening and threat assessment?
Yes, most
Definitely.
definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Most definitely.
It's
Because let me
important.
tell you, not only mental health screening, they should also do visual and hearing screening.
Yes.
Because what I've seen is that some children misbehave because they are not seeing, and they appear to be hardened or disobedient because they're not hearing. And a lot of us don't, as parents, we don't screen our children for this. As a preschool teacher, I always encouraged my parents to have an assessment done with your child, hearing, vision, general health checkup before they go for into primary school.
Yes.
So
Okay,
mental health is something that should be definitely added.
definitely. Um, Pastor George, do you want to make an input?
Well, yeah. At first, I was looking at the logistics of doing that, but then our sister gave the answer. You know that before the children are enrolled in school, that it is the responsibility of the parents to do these checks. You know, and so on. My question would be now, what happens after um, the checks are done, the results are positive, well, negative, I should say, in the context that there's no deficiency, whether mental, social, or whatever, right? And but the child continues to live in a dysfunctional home. So it's like, yes, mentally they're okay, they're sound, socially they're sound, and all of that, But again, going back to last week, and our dear sister Hazel-Ann make reference to, I think it's trait, you call it trait and behavior transmission. So on the one hand, from a clinical point of view or medical point of view, they would be declared okay, right? And to be sent to school and all of that, because there seem to be no deficiency in terms of their mental, and so on, right? But those behaviors that has been transferred to them, right, could create, well, does not necessarily mean that they will behave in a way that is conducive for proper learning. If you catch my
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Um,
Go ahead, Wendy.
yeah, I am not going to start with the school. I will start with the clinics,
Okay.
with the parents first. Start with the clinics with the
Mm-hmm.
parents. The
Yeah,
parents have to have intervention. Some of these violent behaviors that we see displayed, it comes from the home. It comes from the
exactly,
parents. So we
exactly.
starting with the parents first. We can't fix the child if we ain't fix the parent. We
That's right.
fix the
Yeah.
parent, and we have to fix the parent from the womb. Some nurses will tell you the behavior of some of these pregnant teenagers or young adults. It's unbecoming. So it has to start, talks have to start from the level of the clinics, the church, the
And
clinics.
Yeah.
Wendy, as you're saying that, last week we were talking about cycles of dysfunction in families. And you would find one of the challenges in my practice over the years, doing social work and doing different things, working with different communities of different kinds of people, you would realize, like, for example, there was a gangster, he's now dead, and his father, I knew his father, I didn't know him, but I knew his father. His father was what you call a project bajan, and his mother and
Wow.
father got together. Those days was projects or special projects. Remember special works back
Yeah,
in
Yes.
the
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
70s?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
his
yeah,
father was one of those was he foreman and he work. And his parents got together because his mother wanted her 10 days.
Hmm.
And she got this child and she got pregnant with this child and she got an opportunity to go to the States. But she came from dysfunction. The father, by his behavior, he was a bajan because back in the
Wow.
day, men in special works or people working special works, even now, had a reputation of
yeah,
being bajan. You had to be a bajan to
Yes.
run a gang.
yeah, yeah.
And so she came together with this man and they had a child. Now, both of them were dysfunctional. This guy turned out, he went to the States. She spent so much thousands of dollars on him because he had to get in trouble because the situation, your father's a special works man. He had 99 training in the same area, village, whatever. And he was deported to Trinidad and Tobago. When he came back, to Trinidad and Tobago, he went in one area and nobody took him on. He was in Maloney, being a gangster. Nobody took him on and they kind of shut him down. And he left there and he came back to Belmont where everybody knew him and they knew why he was deported. And they had other young men who grew up in Belmont with him. They were deported too. So they formed a gang. And so he
Wow.
became just like his father. He became a Bajan, but we changed it from Bajan to gangster.
Hmm.
You understand? And this is where we talk about cyclical generation curses. We talk about how it goes around in circles.
Yeah,
It
Yes.
continues to go
yeah,
in
Yes.
cycles.
yeah.
And somebody has to break it,
Yes.
That's right.
you know?
Yes. And it has to be a holistic effort. It's not one.
Exactly.
Yes.
It has to be a holistic effort. And I
Yeah.
keep saying, governments go, come, government go. It has to be a holistic thing. The government, the church, everybody
The
has
village.
to be involved in this. The
Yes.
village,
You
the
Yeah.
know,
village.
long ago it was
And
said,
this is the long and short, eh?
yes, long ago it was said it takes a village to raise a child. Now, the village can't raise a child because if your child does something, the neighbor can't say, "Listen, that's wrong." No, the parent want to fight with the neighbor. So,
Yeah.
you know,
And you know that comes
that's
from poor experiences, eh? Like in my case, where adults used to carry news on me because they couldn't advantage me. And I had to make noise and I had to quarrel because of the things that they were doing. I remember, and I spoke this already in a broadcast. I remember one of my neighbors, a young man, he was a teenager when I was a young girl, tried to have sex with me. And when I refused and when I pushed him away and when I carry on like a crazy girl, I was about, what, 10, 11. He went and told my mother lies and my mother beat me and he said he was going to do it. That's the next thing. The reason why nobody wants the village to raise the children is because of the experiences of lies that adults and older teenagers would have said to them, and we don't know why. I was a victim of I don't know why they look at me, he look at me. Apparently he was doing it to all the other little girls, and I believe he was doing it to little boys as well.
wow.
Nobody stopped him.
He's a
So
pervert.
I stopped him. And so in my case, I'm cautious when adults come to say things about children. You know, there's an African proverb that says, the village that does not show the child warmth, he burns the village down to get the warmth. And this is what we are seeing now. Children are literally burning down the school village because we have teachers in the school who don't care. We have
That's right.
principals who don't care. We have social workers, and I say this because I'm a social worker and I know of some of them who don't care. You have guidance officers who don't care. You have people working in the school environment who just don't care.
But I wonder if it's just only a matter that they don't care or they feel helpless in the situation.
Some of them
And
don't care.
well,
Some of
okay,
them are
well,
helpless,
I
but
agree
some
with
don't
that.
care.
yeah,
Some of
right.
them really don't care. They're working just for the money.
Right, but I'm aware of that too, you know. But why I came across like that, I want to piggyback on something Sister Wendy said. Well, I normally refer to her as Minister Wendy, right? And yes, she is. And the fact that she talks about the whole holistic intervention,
Yes.
you know, and it means that the approach has to be a multi-level one
Yeah.
involving church, involving, well, I don't want to put the community so much involved in that because community are not community oriented as when I
As
was growing
before.
up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's
Yes.
True.
about their own business now, you know, that sort
Mm.
of thing, you know. So then they might be last on the list in terms of giving some kind of intervention. And then by and large, our communities are the products of a society by more or less, or I should say, yeah, by and large, right, are dysfunctional. So, you know, and so therefore it becomes a greater challenge, you know, for us to really make that kind of holistic intervention. And I want to score holistic, as Sister Wendy, as Minister Wendy pointed out, because of the fact I am trying to contribute towards the establishment of a discipleship program in my church from a different perspective. And what is guiding me is this whole holistic approach, you know, towards discipleship, because I'm mindful of the fact that yes, somebody will repent of their sins, accept Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, and be integrated in the life of the church. But what about their history? What about their past? And I'm not saying this from the perspective that you hold that against them, but they would
No.
have come with issues or what we call baggages that remain very latent and dormant inside of them. And sometimes as they go along, you know, life, you find that their behavior is not compatible to the Christian ideals, and you're wondering why. It's because there are issues that should have been dealt with in the discipleship process that were not dealt with, you know, and it's just fleshing out itself there, you know. And we talk about what do you call it again? Always forget the term is oh Lord, something generational curses. Right?
Generational
Generation
curses,
sisters.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me just give you a personal example of general curse, generational curse, right? So when I was something was about in my late teens, it dawned on me that before my mom and dad got married, I was conceived, because when I checked, they got married the 2nd of February, January of 1955, and I was born on the 26th of February. So when you do the math, you understand, right? They realized their thing. There was conception before, but that is not the issue. The issue is what happens to the succeeding generation, right? So my last brother, he got married before me, but he got married when his wife was conceived. After his wife was conceived, my second brother, he got married and it happened that my first child was conceived before I got married. So you understand what I'm saying? I could give a
Yes,
tree that
yes,
and other,
Yes.
yes.
right?
Yes.
So okay, I got saved, right? And come into the church. If those issues are not dealt with in one form or fashion, that succession of premarital conception
It
could
will
continue
continue.
without any.
Hmm.
So you understand where I'm going with this, So
Definitely.
that is why I
Yes.
totally agree with
Yes.
Minister Wendy that there is, and I could give other examples, but I think this is sufficient in the context of the point that Minister Wendy made, that we have to take a holistic approach. So, maybe the psychologist, the
Approach.
counselor, the whoever, apart from the pastors and the teachers in Sunday school, must get on board and try to help to develop that person holistically, so you don't reflect any form of dysfunctionality or any form of well, manifestation that you have had some issues in the past that still needs to be dealt with.
But Pastor, I want to say this, eh? First of all, we have to view the church as a hospital.
Exactly.
And we have to understand that people come there for healing. I remember I was on a Zoom call a few weeks ago, and Pastor Wendy was there. And she was saying that
Just call me Sister Wendy now.
Wendy
Oh,
was there, and
hey,
Wendy was
given,
saying that one of the
yeah,
challenges that she has is the way we treat members, the lighter skin and the darker skin, and the who is the high society and who's the what and the what and the what. And this
yeah.
is the challenge that the young people are facing. Young people don't want religion. They want us to tell them about God. They don't want us to
Exactly.
tell them about what we think religion should be. Because
Yeah,
their reality is different to our realities when we were growing up. In
yeah,
the schools, now, children worshiping singers, they worshiping dancers, they worshiping artists, they worshiping gangster, they worshiping this one, they worshiping that one. While we in the church behaving stush,
yeah,
Hmm.
while we in the church behaving as if we better than,
It's
yeah.
while we in the
serious.
church living double lives and double standards and behaving in a particular manner, and we're not coming out there to help.
Right.
So
And
if the people, go
before you
ahead,
go on, I'll say most tragically is the duplicity, where in church we are one thing and at home we are something else.
Oh
double
That
yes,
standards.
oh
that's
yes.
And
Yes,
that
double
is the
that's the
standard.
problem.
problem.
Yes,
That's
That
the
is the
problem.
only
Yes.
Because
problem.
You
Yeah.
you're
see,
going
and
to
the
church
young
every
people, they are
Sunday or every
seeing this.
Sabbath.
Don't
You
think they
go,
are not seeing the lies.
of
They
course they
are
are.
seeing the lies.
And children are brutally honest. Let me tell you something, eh? Having worked with young people, I can tell you I prefer to work with children. I prefer to work with children between the ages of 0 to 5 and teenagers because they tell you the truth. The others, 5 to 12, they're trying to figure out who they are, and and I like working with them as well, but they are oppressed because the society is forcing them into doing this SEA or common interest, whatever you want to call it, and they want to do well. They're not understanding that doing well does not the school you go to in terms of the school you pass for doesn't determine your success later in life. And
correct.
we continue to force them into a corner. Now, there are different, like you have family services, you have people giving free counseling, you have people doing all these different things. But what I've experienced is that the people who need the counseling the most don't go looking for it.
No.
The
True.
people who need it, and sometimes they come to church. I remember one time I got upset with somebody because somebody was in a situation and you're telling them to pray. Get the person a hamper. Hand them
Yeah,
$200 if that's what you have. Help
Yes.
them
that's
that
that's
way.
Yeah,
But
exactly
when you tell
that's
somebody to pray and my 4 children hungry watching me in my eye, why you gonna
that's
tell them, well,
so
let me
true.
pray? We need to
I,
That's
I
stop
so
doing
true.
this. You
We
know,
need to be
and a lot of,
practical also.
yes,
We need to be
because when
practical,
God can't
not
come,
just
just send a
preach.
man,
And,
right?
and I think the point that is being highlighted here now is that we need to start where we ought to really start. And let me put this in some context. Now, Jesus willfully and deliberately decided that he's going to seek an encounter with the woman at the well. But
Yes,
unlike Nicodemus, where he would have come out forthrightly and still to Nicodemus, you must be born again. He did not adopt that approach. He adopted what you could call an evangelism, an
yes,
indirect approach. What he tried to do is to strike common ground with her and meet her at the point of a need. So give me some water. You understand? Because her mind was preoccupied with water. That's where her interest lied. And he used that
exactly.
as a catalyst now to reach out to her from a spiritual perspective. And what I'm saying is that somehow we have to know where they're at and seem to come on board as a partner with them, strike common ground with them. It's only then we will get their attention, because the key is getting their attention. Getting their
Exactly.
attention and understanding what their needs are, and one has to be able to disaggregate that from, or separate the real needs from the underlying needs as well. Yeah, like the man at Gate Beautiful, for him his need was to be healed, right? But there was an underlying need, and Peter and them were able to say that, silver and gold have I none, but such as I give unto you, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk. So
And
his
walk,
physical
yes.
need wasn't only met, but holistically all his needs were met, because he was now in a better position where he could fend for himself and no longer have to sit at the Gate Beautiful and
And beg.
solicit help from people. So, and that is
Yes,
what you want to do, empowering them. At the end of the day, that's supposed to be
that is
the
the word.
ultimate goal. Yes.
I want
Because
to
you know what go ahead, Wendy.
yes, I want to tell you about 3 communities that I've dealt with. And I wanted to show you, I just wanted to look at the progression. I grew up in an area in San Fernando called Pleasantville. I was born in Pleasantville, and I grew up in Pleasantville until I attained the age of 13. And I remember very well, every neighbor were your parents.
Yes.
If your
Yeah.
mother is not at home, the whole street, that Winston Mahabia street, they all were your parents. If you came out bare feet, a neighbor can tell you go back and put on a slipper if you have to go to the shop. My mother moved us out of that Pleasantville that was close knit, and everybody is into their schoolwork, and there was a love. She moved us out of Pleasantville, and we went to another area. Pastor George, you know the area we came
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And coming to that area, yes, it's upper middle class. She moved us
Exactly.
on to upper middle class. But I
Mm.
can tell you this much. The love that we knew in Pleasantville, we didn't get it there,
Amen.
because every people jump in, they can't go,
Yeah.
and nothing. As a matter of fact, the first time I was called black was in that area.
Wow.
The first
Wow.
I knew I was dark skinned, but the first time I was actually called, "You so black," was from a little girl who was probably 3 years younger than me, wealthy parenting, and I mean, when I told my mother, she said, "Yes, you are black, but you're comely." And I mean, my mother
Mhm.
used to rub it in us. You've got to do this. You've got to do
Yes.
that. And
Yes.
I'm saying, it's amazing. It's amazing. The same thing I taught in Tobago. And I saw that camaraderie in that village where I taught. I had friends in enterprise. I saw that camaraderie. So I'm saying, where is that camaraderie now? That these areas now, they call it high risk.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that is
Areas
a challenge to
high.
me. You see that high risk that they tend to call these areas, cause me to have concern. Because when they label, and what people don't understand, we label children as bad behaved, as dunce, and all these things. We label the areas they come from as high risk, as ghetto, as all these things. And we label these things and we label these children. We wonder why they don't excel. When we speak negativity into our
To the
children,
atmosphere.
Exactly.
when we speak
Mhm.
negativity into the
Yep.
atmosphere, it takes root, because those of us who understand spiritual things understand that each thing has a spirit attached to it and a
Death
spiritual
and life is in
connotation.
the power of the tongue.
Let me tell
Yeah.
you something,
And I
eh?
tell you this much. You see that labeling areas for high risk? I must say it. Hazel-Ann and I work with the government, and we have to say it. Even at the SCA level, where you come from is where you will go.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You find a
Exactly.
very
Let me tell you,
brilliant
eh?
child, and where you come from is the school they will place you in.
Listen, my son did very well in SCA. He was in the 97th or 98th percentile. And we live a Rima, so he wanted to go QRC. I did not want my son to go QRC. I did not want my son to go to a school that is only boys in it, for several reasons. Because of being a social worker, because of working in the schools and seeing the things that others would not see, because of things that I've experienced, I did not want my son to go to QRC. And my son went to a school in the East. When he found out, he cried bitterly, and I said, thank you, Jesus. And let me tell you something. My son is now at university, and he said to me recently, Mommy, you know, I learned a lot of things about passing SCA. He said, I realized that it's not the school you pass for, but the school that you will excel and exceed in. Because I remember at Junior Sec, people laugh at me because
I'm a
they
junior
consider
sec
me
product
guided in
too.
school, and they laugh at me. And they say how, imagine it was so bad. One of my neighbors who went to another junior sec said to me, I passed a better junior sec than you, and they laughed me to scorn. The first time in my life and the only time my mother ever defended me was that day when my aunt had to quarrel and a big fuss out. Oh, if I just send you the lessons, my mother's a single parent. She couldn't send me no way. She was barely trying to make ends meet with 3 children, 2 living with her and 1 living in Tobago. And my mother couldn't afford lessons, and all you know, and that's what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
see the situation in families as an aunt, as a cousin, as a sister, as a brother. You're not helping. But when the children not succeeding, you're busy running off. And I remember my mother cursing. My mother used to curse back in the day. I remember my mother cursing and telling she, wherever so and so school she passed for, there's where she going and she'll do so and so well. And I remember leaving Belmont Junior Second and going to Southeast Port of Spain and being punished by teachers for coming from a junior sec and coming first in the school. I used to come first every term from Form 4 to Form 5. I remember teachers shunning me. I remember staff, students who were there from Form 1 treating me poorly and want to fight with me. And I speak this because I say this all the time. I say this to my son. I say, it's only because we didn't have social media in my time why I was not in a fight on TV or in social media, because I say getting innocent fights. And this is what we do to our children.
Yes.
We label them. I remember
Yes.
teachers apologizing to me and saying they didn't expect a junior sec child to come here and beat children from who here from Form 1 in Southeast. I remember a particular teacher come down in our class because our class was junior sec children. I wouldn't call his name, I don't know if he's still alive. And I remember that man come down and curse us. We wasn't making noise, you know, was no class making any noise, and that man cursed us. All they said that junior said delinquent, and only taking all here for. Let me tell you something. I could tell people stories. I understand why some children behave the way they do. And let me tell you, I know I know a boy who went to Southeast from Form 1 to Form 6, and I was teaching open campus, and he was my student. The labels killing our children.
Yes.
People not spending enough time showing our children that they can be the best, that they can do anything they put their mind to. And this is my challenge, you know. We could say all the holistic thing we want, but the challenge is if we don't encourage and show the children they can be anything they want, we will always have challenges.
That's right.
I
Sorry,
just,
Hazel.
yeah, this is so profound what you're saying here, and there are a lot of persons listening on, parents, and I just want to take time to welcome the listeners and say thank you for coming on. And some have been asking questions like, I'm just trying to go back in the chat. Okay, Dawn asks, how do the family get the help? Um, Someone else asked another question somewhere. Oh, should the parents, or same thing, Dawn again, same person, should the parents get assessed also with the assessment? And that brings me to the other question that I'm going to ask. Are there any known school prevention and intervention programs in place at the moment?
Yes, the ministry, my DNS, they had a
Yes,
program.
they
Well, it
are.
was under Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs. They had the adolescent intervention program, and it treated with bullying. Um, what else? It had bullying. You know, we taught them communication skills. It was a program. When they finished with the SCA, we carried on this program at different schools for 2 weeks. Different schools for 2 weeks, and that helped a
Okay.
lot. But there are programs and organizations and
Yes.
ministries that can treat with this. It's just that the public don't know. Just that
Okay.
National
The thing
Family
is, Wendy, what I've seen is that
social workers.
yes, and not only that, the school social work programs and guidance.
Guidance
Those
officers, yeah, the
those
school social
places
work guidance,
you have
yeah.
individual. Yes, you have individual social workers who try to have those things. They try to bring the parents in and stuff. But depending on the
Yes.
school that the child is in, because what I've seen them doing, they're putting them in prestigious schools, quote unquote, and they're putting them in the not so prestigious school. And they've been having the challenges is that the parents, some parents don't see the need for it because not my child. Not my child. And the parents who really need it, the social workers, some of them are doing it on their own in their districts, but they don't have the funds to provide like snack boxes and stuff. And when I did the program in national security, the Hoop of Life program, not life sport, Hoop of Life,
Yes.
the basketball program, one of the things I ensured is when we did the life skills, because I was in charge of life skills then, I did life skills program for them, I ensured we had a snack box because I explained to them, you can't ask people to come from 6 o'clock in the evening to 8 o'clock in the night, straight from work and don't give them something. We have to look at I always look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
That's when I do any program, that's the first theory that I put into play. Then I put other theories, grassroots and whatever else, based on the community I'm working with. And people now, the government is saying they have no money. And I say this without any kind of remorse or regret. It is time for the private sector to step up. It is time for the private sector in Trinidad and Tobago to step up. They are making profits. Some of them, for example, I say this all the time. And I'm not bashing nobody who making their money because they're making their money that way. We have people who have untaxable income in this country, who do not pay a cent in tax, and they make a lot of money. And when there are things in the community, they're raising the taxi fare, they're raising the price of the food, they're raising the price of the goods and services, and they give nothing back to the community. They want the government to give. I have a challenge with that because we have, as somebody put, learned helplessness in this country. Everything we want the government to do. The government doesn't have an infinite bank. They don't have infinite resources. It is time we see the need as a nation to come in and say, you know what, look, find out from your neighborhood, it have impoverished people in your neighborhood, how can I help this family? How can I help
That's right.
in this
I
program?
totally,
It
I
is time.
totally,
We need to start doing that.
But what we
I
have to do,
totally,
we have to ask. If we don't ask, we wouldn't get it.
Yes.
And I can
but
tell you,
sometimes you
when
ask,
you ask,
listen,
you get it.
Wendy, it
I
depends on
totally
who
agree
asking.
with
Because let me tell
you.
you something. There's some people, some companies give back nothing.
Yeah.
This is no joke, There are some companies who give nothing back. And
That's right.
you see, and I'm not advertising for nobody, but you see places like Massy stores and extra foods, well, them just give them is the Mother Teresa. It have organizations, depending on what is the interest of the organization, like TCL gives as well. It have little hardwares that give and stuff. You know what I mean? You have little tent rental place who will get the tents, and you know what I mean? But you have big companies in this country, Yeah, go ahead.
At I just want to take this time to bring our the other guest on the program. I want to bring in Sirnelia Etienne. Sirnelia, are you hearing me? I know she's in the green room
I think she was
waiting
trying to come in at
patiently.
one point in time.
Pardon?
She was trying to come in at one point in time.
No, I will bring her in now. Okay.
Yes.
So, Sirnelia, welcome. This is Sirnelia Etienne.
Hi, good
Uh,
evening.
Hi, Selena.
Hi, Selena.
Hi,
Sirnelia.
Thanks for having me.
Sirnelia.
Okay, so Sirnelia and I are friends for a while, a long while. We did the same culinary arts courses together. We have the same qualifications, and is she went on to teaching children, right? So let her do the other. Let her continue introducing herself, and we're gonna um, we're gonna switch the conversation to a little bit to that area where children that are not academically inclined. And instead of us parents trying to bully them, learn your work, get this, do that. We need to give our children a voice, a hearing also. They have a voice. Give them a hearing. They may be interested in cooking. They may be interested in carpentry, electrical, different things. Because it makes no sense your children in school not learning anything and they're fighting. They're on the streets and they're coming out at the end of the day with nothing to go into a society where it comes like you're throwing a, a, a koi or a goldfish in a sea full of sharks. So Sunita will introduce herself, and we're just giving our choice of life skills because cooking is a life skill. We have to eat every day, all of us. So Sunita, go ahead.
Good evening to everyone.
Good
Thank you
afternoon.
for having me, Hazel. I am
Evening.
happy to be here
You're welcome.
my program. Right, my name is Sirnelia Etienne, and I am from a small community called Komoto. Right, country, very nice community, loving people. I heard some experience that you all give, and it's very close. We're neighbors. They help raise everyone around. So Komoto is a really nice community, and I started off my interest in just cooking, loving the cooking and everything. And when I was finished with my course, right, I was looking at where can I go, what can I do with this qualification, and someone told me that you can get into teaching, right? So I went around looking at YTEP, schools, OJT, and everything, and I got through in OJT, and I trained at Marabella South Secondary School for. It led from 2 years to three because of the pandemic. We were home for a couple of months, and while being home during the pandemic, yes, we were still getting our salary from OJT, but I felt like I wasn't getting to do what I love, which is teach children. So since everything was going online, I decided that why not try online cooking classes, right? And I did my research, I got my stuff, my equipment, had my little trial and everything. And from 2020 September to now, we are here, and so far children are enjoying the classes. Some of them, they open their own business. They have their business registered, they are having sales, they are make it on the newspapers, right? So we have been doing very good. And yeah, any questions?
Selena, years ago, I'm a junior set product. Very proud to be. And years ago,
Yes.
in junior set, it had
Home economics.
home
Home
economics.
economics.
The boys did
Yeah.
good work, and everybody came out very fine in that time. But home economics, every girl, even the boys, had to do it. Even the boys had to do it. And there was a choice if you want to do woodwork or
Oh,
carpentry, whatever.
yes.
But these
Yes.
things have gone out the window. So they mix it. They mix it. I think they call it tech voc. They used to call
Yeah.
Yes.
it
Yeah.
technical
Yeah.
vocational.
Textbook.
And
Yeah.
that tech voc. So you know some of the young men that I went to school with, they would have like 5 subjects. They will get 5 subjects, but yet they are good carpenters. masons, because they did
Yes.
all of that in Judas. I don't think we're having that again. So I'm so glad to hear that you're teaching the cooking, and you know that you're doing your online classes because it's needed.
Yes, a lot of boys, they surprise me. Well, me myself growing up, I didn't know my brother. My brother don't really be in the kitchen as much as the girls. But joining the class, a lot of persons when they ask for information, they were like, "Can boys do it?" And I was like, I'd be like, "Of course they can. Of course they can." And
Yes,
they do
definitely.
very, 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 very well. I have one student in particular. He has been with me from the start. I went to school with his mother. That is Joshua, and he does excellent,
Yes,
excellent cakes. Excellent, and he's only between 12 and 13, right? He's either 12 or 13, and he does very well. I can't wait to see him at 20, the amazing cakes he'll be able to put out. So a lot of parents, they invest now, and I know for sure it would be worth it in the end.
but do you know
Yeah.
that
And
the
You're guiding them
Ministry
into
of
independent
Gender,
living.
yeah, the Ministry of Gender, Youth and Child Development, when it was a ministry, it's now just a division in the Office of the Prime Minister. The Ministry of Gender, Youth and Child Development, they had a program for fathers and sons. So you had
Yes.
an adult male with a younger male. They would come and they would have displays and they would have all these different things and these cooking things. The thing is, we had the MUST program. The MUST program had different things, and food, culinary arts was one of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of
true.
young men were in it. And so the thing is, what I've seen is that people like you, Selena, people like you are creating pods for people to express themselves creatively in
Yes.
terms of food. Because my
Yes.
son loved to cook. He loved to cook since he was a baby in arms, because he liked to eat. And I taught him to cook, but he wouldn't mind, and he's 21 years old now, but he wouldn't mind coming to a class like that, if you understand what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
I grew up in a house where my father cooked. I'm married to a man who cooks. My cousins, my brothers in my family has to be Ghanaian. If you can't cook as a man, something wrong with you.
Yes.
You know, to be Ghanaians, the men were the cooks. So
Yes.
when I hear people say cooking is for girls, it confused me because I didn't grow up with that. I grew up with everybody cooking, mother, father, brother, sister, everybody, aunt, uncle, everybody. So thank you.
You're
go
If,
ahead,
welcome.
if,
Wendy.
if I may ask, to tell us what are some of the challenges you would have had to overcome in order to get started?
Wow. The challenging, in the beginning, I would say equipment, webcam, the space. I didn't have the space, right? I was working with a caterer, and my very, very first class, I used her kitchen for a couple classes. Then I went on to renting kitchen. I even used person's kitchen because my kitchen at home was too small to accommodate the space for me to move and to show them what I'm doing, and to house a table and everything. So I did not have my own space until now. Where I'm at, I'm here now. So it's very spacious and comfortable. So I would say space was the biggest hurdle that I had to overcome. I would say it was difficult getting some support also, people that I know, until I started to do paid advertisement, right? I started to do paid advertisement, and then it got out on social media some more, and now I have persons who come on from last year July, and they do all the weekend classes, or they don't miss at all, at all, at all. So I know that the children, they really, really enjoy it.
Okay. And one other question, could you tell us how great a role self-motivation played? Because you made mention that you didn't get some of the support that you would have expected, and it seems as though you are saying in essence that it's because of your self-motivation you may have achieved what you have achieved so far. So tell us, what role self-motivation played in helping you to reach where you have reached so far.
Well, self motivation and prayer was most important. I had to, I
Direct
had to
conversion.
believe. I believe that I had a good product. I believe that
Yes.
this cooking classes, it would reach where I wanted to reach. And even though I started off with just family. The first class was a trial, so it was free. And then I had a class with one family. The girls were twins, right? But it was one family. And I told myself, I need to stick. I need to continue. I need to continue because you have something. But the only problem is that not enough persons knew about it. That is what I always tell. I told myself, not enough persons knew about it. So I told myself, once enough people get to know about it and they start, they would stay on, and that is exactly what happened.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I'm so happy. Let me ask you this. So when you told people that this, you told your family members and friends that this is what you wanted to do, what was their reaction?
Well, who I told were very close to me, and they said yes, go for it, go for it.
Okay.
I didn't some of them didn't have small children, so there are some that they supported when it comes to words of encouragement, sharing and stuff, right? So they told me to go full 100, and as much as they could have done, they did, right? But when it comes to like persons who I know have children who can just come on and do one class just to show that little support. That is what I mean by, it was difficult getting that support from persons who had children, persons who I knew around. Yeah. But now we are in a good place where a lot of persons know about the classes and they tell their friends and family, and most of the times they will say, my friend told me about your classes and I want to get my child involved, and it's going good so far.
How much is it? How much is the course?
Right, so it's 3 weekends for the month. So you can either do classes on Saturdays or Sundays, and it's $150 for the 3 classes. Right, just $150 for the 3 classes.
That's very good. Very good.
That is because I know it might seem as a small amount per class, but when a parent has to go and buy all the ingredients, I take that into consideration.
Yes.
I take that into consideration, and because it's an online platform, I don't really have a limit to how much persons I can hold online. Okay. So I try not to be greedy, right? I want to be fair. Okay. So I leave the price at that because I know everything is raising, and I just try to get more persons to come on so that even though I have an increase in cost as well too, let's say 5 more persons come on this month, that will cover the cost, the increase in cost, let's say bills, etc.
Selena, do you? And how do we pay? How do we pay?
Right, so I have a business account. I send persons the business account, and they do online transfer or bank fast deposit. And when they send their receipts, a photo or a screenshot, I then email the recipes. So they get all the recipes to print and keep. So it's not as if you're just coming on and make something and then you can't make it again, or you have to try to remember. All the recipes are typed out, and you get the link for us. Come on, and we do everything together. So let's say we measure all the ingredients, we do everything, and I always make the same thing, so I can show them this is the texture you're looking for, instead of them wondering and wondering if this is how it's supposed to be. So I always make an item, the same item with them, so that they have that example.
Okay. I was asking Selena, do you have your classes in cycles? Like for this month it's bread and cake, bread, pastries, and or in cycles, or bread and pastry. What do you do? How you do
so it started off with just an appetizer and a dessert. When I started off, I didn't really take into consideration like a cycle moving from one to the next. So it was just different cakes and appetizers and stuff. But I do try, when I make the menu, I try to cover a pastry, a cake, or a bread in between that month. So it's not as if you have to do May months to go on to June. I mix it up, but I make sure that you get a little of everything in there.
Okay.
Very good.
And those of you,
this is a good idea.
Those of you who know about my cooking channel on YouTube, that's where I do most of my videos at her kitchen, because by her it's silent. By me, yes, I may have even more space than she does, but there's a mini zoo behind my kitchen window. So there's dogs barking, there's monkeys, there's birds, and it's all of them are in the video. So I tend to go across to her, and we do my recording for my cooking channel there.
Great.
Sorry, all the introduced, I introduced myself. I forgot to mention the name of the business is Sinowet's Cakes, Cuisine and Catering. Right? I got the name Sinowet's from my three names, S-I for my first name, N-O for my middle name, and E-T from my last name, Etienne. So that is how I got the name Sinowet's. So I always wanted my business to be on me and to represent me.
Yes.
So I got that
Yes.
name Sinowet's from my three names. So it's Sinowet's Cakes, Cuisine and Catering on Facebook, right? You all can check it out. Anyone who is looking on who never did the classes, you can check it out on Facebook, and you can WhatsApp directly from Facebook. There's the option to WhatsApp directly from there to get further information on the classes and stuff.
Let me ask you a question. What advice you would give to a parent whose child just wants to cook, wants to be in a kitchen? The child has done well, and let's say the child did SCA, and the child is going on, and when they reach Form 3, decide, you know what? I want to cook. What advice would you give to a parent with a child like?
You mean schooling and everything going further?
Yes.
Right? So well, right now we know that total school is down in Trinidad.
Yeah.
But there are a few upcoming baking schools that you can get further qualifications from. I did mine through Transvaler, right? I did mine through Transvaler.
Yes.
And I would say to any parent that even though they are not at the age to go and get a certificate for a job, it is still good to enroll them to have that practice, right? To get them familiar with different measurements, different texture, different taste, different everything. It's still good that even though they're not at the age to go to culinary school to get that certificate with weight enough to go to get a job, it's still good to get them in little programs like what I have so that they can get familiar. There's one student in particular, she's doing food and nutrition in school, right? And her mommy, even though she's doing it there, she still does the class with me, and her mommy will send me photos. This is what she did in her exam. So it gave her that extra practice, right? Even though the teacher is doing an excellent job in school, right? On the weekends, that one day for the week, Sunday, they come on a Sunday, it gave her more confidence, more experience, and she does excellent with pastries and cakes in her exams in food and nutrition.
Okay.
So you would advise parents that if your child wants to cook or wants to do culinary arts, it is something that they can do from very early.
Yes.
And it's a good thing.
So, the youngest that we ever had in the class was 3 years old.
Wow.
And yes, 3 years. So
Yes.
even if they can just measure and put a spoon of baking powder in the bowl, enjoy that as well too, right? And mommy deals with the stove and everything. The youngest that I had in my Easter camp was 5 years old, and if I show you all some of the videos, she's stirring and mixing her butter for her cake and spreading her frosting at 5 years old. So there's no age limit, no matter as little as they can do, they feel good and proud of their
doing it. Yes.
Great. Do you give a certificate of participation at the end of the course?
Certificate
of participation?
Yes.
Great.
We give them a certificate. And they are very happy to collect it. They feel so proud of themselves to know that they did this course and they have the certificate to frame. There's one international student I had, 2 brothers. They are in Canada, and their certificate, their aunt is going to carry across their certificate for them. So his mommy told me that he's excited, he needs to get it because he told his friends about it and he wants the proof. So he wants a certificate, he wants his aunt to bring across a certificate mountain as proof that he did the course. And that is so important. They like to have that proof. I did this course. So yes, I print certificates for them so that they can have it as proof.
Great.
And someone is asking about the link. So I just put your number in there. The number is 788-3213. And someone else asks, is it a free pastry class or paying? What if someone is in Tobago and wants to learn? You can be any part of the world, Patsy, and you can learn. Just call the number, add the number to your phone, and you can call, and she will add you. You know, you'll make arrangements. She'll add you to the chat. She do give free classes, but not, you know, it's not a free, not every day, so to speak. There are specials of free classes, but I think it's best she can answer that question. Are you seeing any questions on the
Yes,
chat?
for the
Right.
free classes, it's Thursdays. So Thursday evening, that day during the week, right? I do a bake. So this Thursday I'll be doing fry bakes, right? I try not to charge for something that I wouldn't pay for. So let's say a bake. It's simple ingredients. I will have it for myself after to eat for dinner. So I would do fry bake this week, and the following Thursday I plan to do roast bake. So I try to do accommodate persons who really cannot afford, right? But they will learn basic stuff. Basic stuff. And my free
Yes.
classes on holidays, it's like pulori, kurma, basic local stuff that ingredients that easy to get, right? But on the weekends, the paid classes, it only works up to like $50 per class, and that is where you make cheesecake. And so this weekend here, I'm doing a cherry vanilla chiffon cake. That is where you beat your eggs, your egg yolk separate and your egg white separate, and then you fold it in. So it's a very good technique to learn. It will give you a different texture from the basic sponge. So I'm doing that this weekend with a chicken kebab. So there are different a lot of different exciting recipes that we do on the weekend. But yes, for persons who may not be able to afford this stuff, you can look out on the Thursday evenings for a little bake, a little potato pancake, basic dinner items.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And you know,
So
you hear a speaker, and I'm getting excited. I don't know about you, Wendy and Hazel-Ann. I am hearing her speak, and I'm
I'm
excited.
thinking about getting her to my boys in the transition home to do
Well,
something.
girl, well, I am saying, I am here. What I'm saying, I am doing a project right now, and I'm thinking about getting her to do the project that I'm doing now with some of my children, like
Yes.
you know, the children who transitioning from the home.
Yes.
So we'll have to have a discussion, Miss Etienne,
Sure.
concerning this, and I will talk to
Right.
my supervisors and here see if we could pay you something, you know, for your online classes to teach these children. You know, it's amazing.
It is.
Thank you.
okay, so apparently we have lost Pastor George.
Pastor
I
George,
tried calling
He
him,
got
but
bumped off.
not getting through. Yeah, and I think his battery probably died. So okay, so we could just, you know, continue for a few minutes, and then you know, and what I want to say to parents, you know, you need to be more vigilant with your children, because the causes of the causes of school violence could stem from anything. It could be like things they have seen on TV. It could be video games. It could be, you know, rejection by a peer, a relative, a classmate. It could be academic pressure. It could be things that's happening in the home. If it's not happening in the home, it could be probably from things that they see happening with a neighbor. And
yes,
children, there's a saying, "What monkey see, monkey do." So probably
exactly.
they could be trying to experiment to see, if I do this, what will happen? Or, okay, welcome back, Pastor George.
That's George.
Or, you know, feeling pressured of what's happening, and then in the home, maybe parents, as we say, being abusive to each other or abusing them children, maybe a single father or a single mother, or even both parents. Could be maybe the parents, as we spoke about earlier, have substance disorders or personality disorders, and the children now go out there and rebel. They may not
Yes,
rebel in the home, but they go out there and rebel. So, it's like we asking parents to please be more vigilant. Pay attention to what your children are looking at, especially online, on the internet, the video games, what type of games they're playing. And, and I will even go a little deeper. Spiritually, things transfer, spirits transfer,
yes,
demons transfer through books we read, through games we play, through music we listen to, and things like that. It's not just about the the spirit of violence could come in through a video game or through a television show. Yeah, and then you're wondering, well, what's going on with my child? My child was not like this. Because then you have to find the root cause of it. And then sometimes these demons do manifest and speak through the children.
Yes.
And say who they are, where they came from and things like that. And in previous programs when I had Pastor Mark would come on, and he's very experienced with deliverance. And he had episodes where demons speaking through the children and saying that they came from the television.
Yes.
So this is why I'm saying for parents to be vigilant, more vigilant, and don't just, there are some parents that just push the phone in the child hand with the games.
Yes.
All the
I
time.
have a problem with that. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Serious problem with that.
Yeah, and you don't know. These children are not like children like long ago. They're very techno savvy, so they go into different things, and so you need to be more vigilant.
They can't read, but they could find YouTube. They could find everything. They can't read it, right? I saw a video yesterday or the day before that was very disturbing. A baby was throwing down himself and pelting down and bawling and carrying on at a rate, and the mother handed him the phone. And he subscribed, and I was very, very appalled by that. I was shocked. I was saddened. Even people don't understand that they need to protect their eye gates and the ear gates.
Ear gates, yes.
You see the ear gates and the eye gates. Parents need to understand the vigilance is to protect their children's ear gates and eye gates. Even the things that they smell, even the people touching them.
Yes.
Because the enemy uses our 5 senses against us all the time.
That's right.
Right? And so we have to be cautious. But especially those 2 gates, your eye gate and your ear gate. Parents have to be careful. I didn't give my son, I didn't believe in giving my son phone at all. He had a phone to answer and whatever, but I don't think parents should. Nowadays, every child have a tablet.
Yes.
Or they have a phone. That is dangerous. They become addicted to these phones, these devices, and if you take it away from them, they have withdrawal symptoms. Then I forget my phone home. I was like, oh God, I forget my phone home. And I almost dropped into the maxi to come back my phone. And I said, no, I don't need that to breathe and to live. I'll collect that phone when I come back home. So we have to be cautious with our children. We have to show them love. And next thing I want parents to know is that when you are kind to your children, they are kind to themselves. When they are kind to themselves, they are kind to you as a parent, and they are kind to those that are around them. When you respect your child, his or herself, and he or she goes around respecting others. If we do not show love and respect and kindness, we are going to have challenges. Some children are academically inclined. They like to read. They give them books. But the right book, some children like cook, sports. Go ahead, Hazel.
Sorry, I was just saying sometimes, the parents might say the children have no respect, but then what are you doing to earn that respect?
Exactly.
What are you doing are you showing respect to earn?
Let me just stick a pin here. Sometimes we have a parent and the children, they are doing very well academically, but the parent is very dishonest. And disrespectful. Very dishonest and disrespectful. And something, that child is looking on and say, but how mommy or daddy is treating us this way, yet they are treating others that way. You see those cross signals? You see those signals that parents would send confusing signals to the children? It's amazing. A little girl told me once, well, daddy told us not to speak to this one and that one, not to speak to A, B, and C. Those are things that parents must not do. They are things that parents must not do because they are sowing seeds of discord in the minds of children.
Yes. And then it's one parent.
Something, Wendy, some years ago.
Family members. Ill-speaking family members from the children.
in front of the children and encouraging the children to be disrespectful. I remember one time,
Yes.
my husband and I went to dinner
Yes.
in Roxy, and this little girl came and the father gave her money to play games, and not Roxy, sorry, in Pizza Hut in Valsane. And she played and she lost. And the last time she came and said, Daddy, I lose. The father said, go and tell the woman the machine take your money. She couldn't be more than 5.
Wow.
She couldn't be more than 5. And he told her, go and tell the lady the machine take your money and you'll get to play again. And this little girl looking at him confused. And I'm looking at them in shock. And I say, I didn't have any, my son wasn't born yet. And I said, Lord Jesus, help me. I'm going to make a child to bring in a world with these kind of children, these kind of parents. Who telling these kind of Chinese things? How I make it out? And you know, she did go. Her father, who she loves and cares for and reveres, and it is the best thing in the world, told her to lie. And she lied.
Yes.
And the lady did give her and so she was rewarded for the lie. So she, in that instant, learned that there is reward for lying and being dishonest.
Right. That's right.
You understand?
That's right. We have to be so careful as parents.
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, you know,
Very,
and
very
you know,
careful.
sometimes the parents are respectful too, but the children, you know, following their friends and the, you know, peer pressure or being brainwashed.
Let me say something to you. It depends on the home you come from, right? My son went to one of the, it's a good school, 7 years and stuff, and you know, there were a number of things happening in the school. But my son knows his parents. And he knows his father and mother were not afraid to tag team him. we don't believe in beating. We believe in fighting up with a child or whatever. But we believe in what the word of God says concerning the foolishness that's bound up in the heart of a child.
Yes.
We believe in that. We believe in respecting him. We believe in talking to him and stuff. But, and you know, one of the things he said to us as he got older and started telling us about some of the things he experienced in school, he said, you know, I cannot be a bad boy in school, you know, but when I study, how my parents love me and how my parents treat me,
exactly,
and what I have at home, he said, I made a decision not to be like that. Because whether we, you know, the fact is, yeah, he getting good treatment, but you know, if he come over that kind of thing, it is not going to last him very long. He may open his mouth and say something, you know. But he will receive the hands of the Holy Ghost through his parents, because we're not going to take it from him. Understand what I'm saying? I mean, he's a big man now. But back then, 11, 12, Holy Ghost had to talk to he, because Jesus Christ mashed up the temple. So I just saying, but let's move on.
Okay, so
no, because no, don't tell me you were at school. You come around and tell me you're mad.
What closing remarks are we going to give? What advice are we going to give? What suggestions to try to eradicate? And you know, it can't. I wouldn't say it could be totally eradicated, but at least to, you know, to what's the word I'm looking for? To lessen down on it. What's the word I'm looking for? It will help me, someone.
Reduce.
Curtail. Yes, to reduce, right. The level of violence that there is out there now amongst our children.
We have to create safe havens. Not only the parents, the schools, the churches. I keep saying churches because the church play a pivotal role in the lives of you know, of their charges. Let me say their charges.
Families.
In families and the society at large. We have to create safe havens. Let me give you a little experience, what I have noticed. There was this little boy, cute little boy, you know, we know him from church, nice little boy. Everybody chumming up. And one that boy became a teenager and started, I don't like to use the word giving problems, but the home was kind of little dysfunctional. Now we forget that he's a cute one. We forget that this is the little cute one that everybody wanted by them. You know what I saw? I saw people pushing this boy away. I say he will come to church.
Yes, they do that.
They will push him away. And now that same young man, he found the Muslim faith where they embrace him. You know what they do? They embraced him. And where he found like family, I'm saying it's okay for him to find it there. That's okay with me. But I'm saying we must always create safe spaces. If we want remedy, safe spaces. A child must be comfortable, or even the parent must be comfortable to come up and say, listen, this is what I'm facing. Could you help me? And there must be a level of confidentiality. You don't have to go A, B, and C and talking and talking. This is what's going on with them, you know. This is what is happening to them, you know. I am one who speak my truth. If something is happening in my family, I'm calling everybody for help. Help me here. Help me to pray.
Yes.
What is I should do here? Because I am putting nothing under the cover. That's putting nothing under the pot cover. This is how it is. This is how it is. You know what I'm saying? We have to be truthful and create those safe spaces.
Yes.
We have to be truthful and create those safe spaces. People have to be comfortable, and people have to feel free, and you know, to speak and cry out for help without being judged.
That's right.
That is it.
And any other input, Pastor George? You're silent since you came back. We haven't heard you. I'm not hearing you.
We're not hearing you. Oh, put on your mic. It's just below the pictures. It's supposed to see the mic there. Just below the pictures.
Take your volume up. Check your volume.
No, he's still not hearing him.
No, not hearing you.
You're not hearing him.
In the meantime, let me encourage the listeners to please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel, because you know we have a power pack team here, as I said, not just packed academically, but power packed spiritually as well. And that will be our encouragement to continue to come on here and, you know, impart unto you all. It's free, you know, impartation, and let's try to, you know, take parenting to another level by, you know, getting back into the word of God, which is most important, you know, because the Bible tells you about training up a child in the way that he should go, and when he grows old, he should not depart from it. And are you hearing, Miss Pastor George?
No,
I'm not hearing you, no?
We're not hearing you.
Hold on. Hello?
Can you turn him on? Can you put on his mic for where you are?
Go ahead.
Hazel?
I just tried.
No, we're not hearing him.
We're not hearing you.
We're not hearing you. Try again. No, not hearing you at
No,
all.
we're not hearing you.
All right. So thank you very much, listeners, for coming on.
Before you go, let me just
Yeah.
because I know this will go out. If each of us can mentor one, if we can put a spark in one, that flame will light a blaze. If we could just mentor one, look at one, have one, you know, just mentor one. Just mentor one. Are we seeing what is happening to our own?
Yeah.
And I speak boldly to our own. If we could just mentor one. I'm just saying one.
Yes.
Just one.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
We are in trouble as a people. Our children are in trouble. Our children are bawling for help. They're not crying anymore. They are bawling.
Especially our boys.
Especially
our young men.
Especially our
young boys are being labeled as criminals, as bandits, as all these different things. And we are not calling them kings, and we need to call them kings, and we need to speak kingliness into them, kingship into them. You know, we need to show them respect. We tend to walk, as we see two looking like me walking together. They right now, some of them going a little as the styles different. We start to hold on to the handbag and watching them funny. You need to show them
Exactly.
some respect.
And
You
the
need to
thing
show them
about
some
it,
love
let
and
me
some
just say this
kindness.
before we go. My husband and I went to the bank a couple of months ago. And you see, when you see something, you say something. But there's a way to say it. And this young man,
Yes.
nice looking black young man, came into the bank, but his pants was falling down. And my husband is telling me, oh, don't tell him nothing now, don't say nothing. Could I stand there and say nothing? So I went up
Nothing,
to
no,
him.
you can't.
I said, sweetheart, I'm seeing your underwear. And I helped him pull it up. You know, that young man was so thankful. He was so thankful. He said, it's my belt, I forget home. I said, no, pull up your pants.
You
Let's
see?
treat them with kindness. Let's love them.
And
Let's
respect
impact.
and love.
Let's impact.
Love
Let's
them.
impact.
Love them.
Let's
Love
impact.
them.
I'm saying again, our young people are bawling for help. They're bawling. They're not crying anymore.
Help, yes.
They're bawling for help.
They're screaming their lungs out.
Screaming.
They are. Their lungs out.
And you know something? If
And
they
you
can't
know
get
what?
it, they kill themselves.
And not only that, they will kill us. When we don't take care of them and love them up and see about them. Let me tell you something. People remember you when you don't remember them, eh?
Yeah, that's true.
You will do something for somebody out of love and kindness with respect just because you realize that they need somebody to be just kind with a smile. And you go on about your business because you don't do what you have to do. And down the road, you may see them and they go say, I get it all the time. They might know my name, mother. They just call me mother. I feel a little old, but that's all right. Mother, you remember me? Or aunt? You see the chance? They go call me mother. You see the chance? I can't do the chance at all. I can't do the chance. Call me mother. Go call me chance.
Mother is respect.
Yeah, mother is, you see the chance? And I feel like a real old auntie granny. And they say, you remember me? And they say, no, I remember you.
Yes.
You remember that time I went so. And you think, I said, boy, well, oh, girl, me remember that. I didn't remember. My father pay a boy from Buku. We went with my brother's to a party. And I asked the man how much I charge him to carry him Good Road. And daddy say, when he reached Good Road and the man see where he live, the boy see living, he say, you living here? He say, yes. He say, you used to drive a taxi, so. My father said, I long time. He said, when I used to go to primary school, you used to pick me up and drop me to school for free. And a morning, I didn't have no money to buy a copybook, and Mr. Sugar beat me. And you give me the money to buy the copybook. My father didn't remember the boy. So my mother used to say, cast your bread upon the waters, and you'll find it after many days. So just treat them kind now. Be respectful now. Love them up a little bit. That's what we need to do.
Yes.
Pastor George? Okay. All right. We lost your voice. We lost your voice.
Not hearing you at all, Pastor George. Not even on the
No,
phone.
not hearing you.
We're not hearing you at all.
Yeah, he said, I don't know.
All right.
I feel he just didn't
Can
put
you
on
type
his
in the
arm.
chat? Can you type in the chat? The bottom right-hand corner. I don't know what's happening with his he's unmuted here, he's not mute. And I have his volume right up to 150, but I'm not hearing him. I don't know why. I don't know why we're not hearing him. Devil is a liar,
devil
man.
and he
Come
shall
on.
flee. Yes.
Devil is a liar.
The devil.
And he did come out and come back in, so.
Yeah.
But we had a good program, thank God. It was good. And we have a lot of comments here. People ask a lot of questions. Believers need to be more welcoming, especially to the younger generation. Yes, that's true. Yep. And someone said, we see that happening a lot. The Muslim community, I think that's what she wanted to say, would always welcome such persons. Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you, Kelly and Dawn. Trying to see some names here. Patsy. Some of them were not interactive, but there are lots more on Medina, Roseanne, Adrian, Natalie, Marsha, Diane, Apostle Nadia. Who else? I think I saw Brother Jason. John was on also. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you all for coming on. Thank you very much. What's
I think
this here
Pastor
now?
George made a comment here.
Okay. It is very important that the saying, if the priest could play Who Is Me, never be said
Yes.
about it in a negative way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his comment. Okay. So so we're saying good night now. Thank you. Thank you, Sirnelia, very much. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Pastor George. Thank you, my namesake Hazel-Ann. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you all very much for accepting and
Very
coming,
welcome.
taking your time to come back on here a second time. And it's not over. At any time you all could feel free to come and discuss any topic. Just let me know. And I'll schedule a program again and we'll come on. I think next week I'm going to go back to, male and female intimate relationships, abuse, red flags kind of thing. Yeah, because I have some persons waiting to come on to discuss that. And we can always have testimonies and anything later on. So thank you guys very much. Thank you all,
Welcome.
Thanks for
listeners.
having
Thank
us.
you again. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
having us.
Good night.
Thanks
Thank you
again.
for subscribing. Those of you subscribe, thank you very much. And we'll see you all next Monday, God's willing.